Hi, welcome to episode 89 of The Corner of Knit and Tea. I'm your host, Laura. I'm also known as Fluffy K on Ravelry and Fluffy Kira on Twitter and Instagram. I blog over at thecornerofknitandtea.com, and that's where this episode and every episode's show notes will be. I have an Etsy shop called The Stash Buckler Adventures in Yarn, where I sell my hand-spun yarns, and we have a Ravelry group called The Corner of Knit and Tea. If you haven't come over and joined us, please do. Hi, it is Sunday, May 22nd, and I am coming to you on a beautiful sunny day. The weather has been really nice this weekend, and we're about to go into a week full of rain, but the temperatures have been nice, and it has just been a lovely weekend. As you can tell, I am wearing my Frosted Midnight cardigan. I wanted to show you how it ended up. It is still quite big in the top, and I'm not exactly sure what, if anything, I'm going to do about it. I have not fastened it yet. I'm just holding it together today with a pin. As you can see, it's still huge up here, but the rest of it fits just beautifully. The sleeves are nice and tailored, and the fabric is super soft. Once I washed it, it got really, really soft. And the body length, I actually blocked it longer to try and narrow the top. And so the length is really nice. It's about hip length. So I do think this will be a nice addition to wear over dresses this summer, which was kind of what I had intended for it. I'm just sorry that I couldn't, get the yoke just a little bit higher without it basically falling off my shoulders and being kind of an 80s thing. So, but I did want to note that I am wearing it. It is finished. I took lots of pictures this week and published a post on the blog on my feedback on both the yarn and the pattern. Of course, I was reviewing the yarn or got the yarn as a gift to test it and enjoy it, and that I did, and there will be a drawing for my Breaking Case of Emergency skein at the end of this podcast, so stay tuned for that. So I hope you all have had a wonderful week. Mine has been kind of busy, but there has been lots of knitting, which of course makes me happy, and some spinning, and I guess I will get right into the podcast today. We'll start with the tea. A few weeks ago, a lovely viewer from Hawaii asked if she could send me some teas from Hawaii, and I wasn't exactly sure what to expect, but she sent me this lovely box of Hawaiian natural tea, which has 3 different kinds of tea: pineapple strawberry, passion fruit orange, and mango peach. And I dug in today with mango peach. And the ingredients say organic green tea, organic black tea, 100% natural flavoring, makes delicious iced and hot tea. I am drinking it iced today. I'm drinking it hot today. I can talk, really. And I decided to put it in my blue mug that reminds me of the ocean, just making me think a little bit about Hawaii. I have been to Hawaii, I believe, twice. And I would love to go back. It is beautiful and tropical, and I just need to talk my husband into it. That is delicious. I added just a taste of sugar, and I get both the mango and the peach from that. So that is Hawaiian natural tea. I am sure I will enjoy the rest of the box, and thank you, Winnie, for sending that my way. I will link to this in the show notes if I can find it online. So that is what I am drinking today. Let's get into the knits. Now, of course, I told you that I was going to try very hard to finish a whole bunch of knits in May, get everything off the needles, clear the decks for June. And so I sat down with the shawl and the socks this week that I needed to work on. And wouldn't you know it, I just cast on something else. So I decided that I wanted to take a quick break, do something that would be sort of instant gratification, and I decided to knit a hat. This is the Tamarugo hat. Oh, you can't see. Let me see if I can. There we go. This is the Tamarugo hat by Anna Hintika, and this is knit out of Knit Pick Swish worsted in Indigo Heather. This is the leftovers from the sweater that I knit Roxy this year. That was the owlet. So this is Tamarugo. It was a quick knit. I used about 120 yards. I followed the pattern. I think this will still be an okay kid's hat. Ooh, that's perfect for color and whatnot. And it's got this really interesting floating stitch that was really kind of fun to do. So that is Tamarugo, and that is my finished object for this week. Small though it may be, it was satisfying. I am still knitting charity hats and putting them aside. I am not exactly sure where I will be donating them, but I'm going to try and keep knitting a bunch. I had knit a bunch in January and February for the 25,000 Toques project. And as far as I know, the Knitmore girls still have that going, but I did note that the people who actually founded the 25,000 Toques project have actually stopped accepting hats for now because it is not winter anymore. And so they closed down the post office box that they had been renting to accept things. And I don't know if they'll pick it back up in the fall, but I just wanted to keep knitting hats for when it gets colder. So Tamarugo, and I believe I got this pattern for free, but I can't remember whether it's a free or paid for pattern. I might have just gotten it free on like a giveaway or like a limited time promotion. So Tamarugo. That brings me to the things that I am working on that you have seen. First up, we'll talk about the sock that I am knitting. I am using the Vanilla is the New Black pattern by Annie Fletcher, which is basically a vanilla sock, but it has a very interesting heel, and I finished the first one. I finished this yesterday, and this is the boot heel base from Show Me Yarns. It is a merino nylon base, and this is in the colorway Aunt Gigi, and I love, love, love the stripes. And I knit this, I actually knit this 60 stitches for this sock, and I knit it on US zeros, and I am much, much happier with my gauge. It fits perfectly now, and I really, this heel was very interesting, and I will be interested to see how it feels and how it wears. And now I need to do the second sock, and when I finished this one yesterday, I finished on the black. And I was sitting in, we had Dungeons and Dragons yesterday, and I was sitting in Dungeons and Dragons, and I finished on the black, which is right before the green, which then goes into purple, and purple is what I need on the top of my sock if I want to make the match. So I was like, oh my goodness, I won't even have to wind much off. I just have to wind off a little bit of the green. And I sat in the corner and went, yes! And everybody at the table looked at me and was like, what? And I was like, never mind, you wouldn't understand. So I'm super excited because I finished almost where I need to start for the second sock to make the match, and I don't even have to waste a lot of yarn, and I know you knitters will appreciate that. I hope to knit the second sock by the end of the month, which is not quite next weekend. I believe May 31st is Tuesday, so I have a week and a couple days to do it, and I think I can do it. But again, this is Show Me Yarns. It's the boot heel base in the Aunt Gigi colorway, and I am loving these socks. I'm hoping maybe I'll have enough to knit Roxy some socks, but I don't know. I can't really tell. I didn't divide it, so I'm having a hard time eyeballing and deciding whether there's actually going to be enough for another pair of socks or not. If not, I will just use it in my blanket or share it with others. So that is the sock project, which brings me to the last one I have on the needles, which is my shawl. It is the Party Cove or Beach Cove. It is the Beach Cove shawl pattern by Anne Podlesak, and I am knitting it for Anne's and my joint knit along. It is a shawl knit along, and it is just about concluding. It concludes on May 31st, which, like I said, is not this coming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. So if you are working on a shawl for that and you want to finish it to be eligible for prizes, you need to be speedy this week, but I hope you will. We have quite a few lovely entries, and I am really excited about that. I am hoping to finish mine by the time we get to the end of the month. Of course, I will not be eligible for prizes, but I have gotten through all of the pinks, and I started on some of the teal this week, which is very exciting to me. There's not really the best way to show you this. I'll see if I can, that's probably pretty good, but the teal is a nice pop top. And if you remember, I told you I had 2 balls of yarn, and I am just about out of the first ball. And when I start the second ball, I am going to start the lace edging, and then there is a picot bind off. And my plan is to, the deal is that there's blue, and then it goes back into a little bit of pink, and then it goes into a huge amount of blue. And my plan is to have the lace edging and, if possible, all of the picot bind off in the blue, so that it's really a striking contrast between the top, which is all in pinks, and then the blue at the bottom. So I am looking forward to finishing this. I should be able to in the next 10 days or so, or 9 days or so, because I do want to finish it with the end of the knit along and be ready to start on June projects. So like I said, this week will be the shawl and the sock, and hopefully I'll be able to keep myself from casting on another hat, because I suspect I will need to put in quite a bit of time on these two to get them done, but I am also not worried that I won't be able to get them done. That will leave, sort of as my works in progress, my Hilda, which, like I said, still needs another sleeve and some addition to the body, and of course my Cozy Memories project blanket, but that is not something that I anticipate finishing right away. And I already have my June knits planned out. I am going to do a shrug in Dreamin' Color Classy yarn, and that is going to be for the Loopy U Camp Loopy. And then I have another pair of socks slated. I have the yarn picked out, the needles put aside, and I have the pattern already. And I think I am going to try knitting those 2 socks on well, they'll be on DPNs, but I think I'm going to try knitting them in tandem, because usually, as you have noticed, I knit my socks one and then the other, and I have been interested in trying tandem, and I bought a couple sets of zings so that I could try that, so that will be my next sock project. And then I'm also hoping to squeeze a baby sweater in June. I want to do something newborn sized for my new nephew. So those are the 3 projects that I have picked out for June. I'll probably try and squeeze a hat in there, and of course, you know me, I might try and squeeze Hilda in there too. So that should keep me plenty busy for June. So that is all the knitting for this week, and a little bit of talk of new projects. Next week I will probably still be showing you these projects. It will not be June yet, so I don't know that I'll be able to, maybe I'll bring some of the yarns and show you and talk about what I want to cast on for June. And I will not be announcing the, well, let me think about this. Because the shawl contest will be over on May 31st, I probably will not wait till the first podcast in June, which would be June 4th or 5th. I probably will not wait that long to show you the winners. I will probably just we'll announce the winners on Ravelry, Anne and I will, but I will talk about it in the June podcast. So you'll have to tune into the Ravelry group for those winners. Okay, sip of tea, and then let's talk about spinning. Okay, last week I showed you a beautiful braid that kind of jumped the queue because I had a whole box of things to spin, and then I could not resist buying a braid of fiber, and came home and really, really, really wanted to spin it. It was a beautiful braid of Three Waters Farm. It was Polworth silk, and it was in the colorway Meet Me at Spring Street, which was a variety of teals and yellows and pinks, and I have finished that. It is still very wet, so it is not, it's not as fluffy as I think it will be. I did spin it thinner than my last several spins, and this is a pretty good representation of the color. It is springy, and actually it also reminds me of summer, of fruity drinks with umbrellas, and just fun tropical kind of colors with all the different blues of the water, and pinks of maybe strawberry daiquiris, and yellow of sunshine, and it came out beautifully. I probably got between, well, I'm hoping for 350 yards. I don't know if I'll quite make that, but definitely between 3 and 350, and this is it is definitely a probably heavy fingering weight. And this will be going in the shop. As I said, it is still quite wet. This end is like pretty much sopping wet. I don't think I can wring it out, but it is really, really wet. So I probably won't even take pictures until tomorrow. But that should be hitting the shop early this week. And it is not spoken for. So if it strikes your fancy, please do think about it. So that brings me to what I am going to spin this week. We are gearing up for Tour de Fleece. You have heard me talk about my team, and I actually made that official this week. So if you are interested in coming and spinning with us, please do. I usually spin on the team Hello Yarn and in years past, Hello Yarn, which is Adrian, Southern Cross Fiber, which is David, and Spunky Eclectic, which is Amy, have done a joint team where you can spin any one of their fibers on the team. I don't know if that's what they're going to be doing this year. I do know that Adrian Hello Yarn has already started to get excited about Tour de Fleece and has opened a Tour de Fleece warm-up thread where you can spin your Hello Yarn. And as you know, I am excited about Tour de Fleece. It is one of my favorite times of the summer. Even as much as I love knitting, I love spending 2 to 3 weeks just coming home and doing nothing but spinning. It just, usually I divide my time between my knitting and spinning. So each evening I come home and I try and spin for about an hour, and then I spend some time knitting. And I can't explain it, but it is just really a pleasure to come home and do nothing but spin. Now, I will knit that month because I will not be taking spinning with me to the office or to knit night or to various other things, game day at the table, watching Wes race, for drone racing, all of those things. I will need a knitting project, and so I will have a knitting project that month. But I love that month is very highly dedicated to spinning. Anyway, the Hello Yarn enthusiasts are already getting there in terms of excitement, so I picked out a Hello Yarn braid this week. This is called Shadows Parted. It was a club earlier this year. It is Targy, and it is all these great shadow colors, blues and purples and grays, and then it has some of this very light blue that Adrian has kind of gotten, I don't want to say obsessed with, but she really, really likes this pale icy blue, and then some of this kind of gold colorway. So I think this will be an interesting spin. Targy is super, super soft and floofy. So this will definitely be a shop spin, and you'll be able to see how this progresses during the week. I can't wait to see what it turns out like. It is definitely a very shadowy blend. That's a perfect representation of the color right there with the navy and the purple. And I think this is going to be a beautiful braid. I cannot wait to put this on the wheel. I may have to start this tonight. So that is all the end of my prepared material, which means it is time to draw for the prize winner. As I noted during my working on this sweater, I was afraid I would run out. I did not. I did not have very much left over. I probably had... Well, let's see, I had 2 skeins, and each skein was 100 grams, I think. Yes. And I probably had 20 or 30 grams left over, so I really wasn't as close to running out as I thought, but I used a good chunk of it. I had bought an extra skein. I was calling it my break in case of emergency skein. So this is Manos Marina. And it is 100 grams. It is in the colorway Arboretum, and it is 874 yards. And I also had extra beads. So I offered 2 packages of the Dynamites. This is the Metsuno beads, and they are in pastel white. They are pearlized. Anyway, I started a thread on Ravelry, and we had 32 posts, which means I subtract the first one because that one's mine. I ran the numbers on a random number generator 2 through 32, and it came up with number 11, which is La Jolla Girl, La Jolla Girl, Nancy. So Nancy, please contact me, and I will get these out to you this week, and I will throw in maybe a few teas as well, and so let me know. So I think that's all I have for you this week. I hope that you have had a wonderful week and are looking forward to another week of craftiness and enjoyment. I hope the weather is lovely where you are and you're able to enjoy spring, or if you're in the other hemisphere, autumn. And I will say, as I always do at the end of my episodes, happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping, and I'll see you next time. Bye.